affect us. So we have all the stuff that's going on right now has to be emitted at a certain frequency, a certain level that is not harmful to, material, to our bodies. So it's put out that way. But we always take for granted, like the remote, how we sit on the couch and use the remote to change the channel, how we use all of our Bluetooth and wireless devices to go ahead and just go about our daily life. How does that work? Where is that energy? Where is it coming from? And if it does affect us. So, we talk about, you can see on the spectrum here is ELM, ELF, and we understand there's a lot of energy all around us, and the most powerful energy can't be seen, but it's energy all around us. Everything we need is all around us. I had put on my Instagram about the black guy who invented this machine that basically took the air and made clean water. And, they sabotaged one of his machines. A lot of people was asking questions about him. Is he still alive? I believe so. And I believe he's still putting these machines out because there's a real use for that, a military use and just a practical use for it. If you think about, and yes, he did put one in Flint, Michigan. If we think about how something like that can be used just in wartime or in, African countries and places where, it's deadly and dangerous to go and try to get water and, have to worry about contamination and so on and so forth. But the fact that this dude can pull water from the air and make water, like a lot of water, it was a big deal. So it's telling you, and it's something I believe that, the ancients knew and possibly used. Everything is around us. We have to really understand how to tap into it. And for those who know my deeper work, I get into this. And one of the reasons why, the white man was created to do exactly what he's doing. As we get deeper into that, a lot of people is going to understand. As I said, I don't talk about it much because it's not going to be good for some people to know this information. And most people, they're not going to accept it. They're not going to want to accept it. But what's happening is deep. There's a lot of stuff going on, and our relationship to it is important. And I got into this before about how you got to understand why stuff was put out the way it was, why the Egyptians put out information and everything was on so much of a teaching choice. Like it has to be taught, but you have to make the choice to accept it and to choose what you're going to learn and understand. It can't just be given to you. And it's a reason for that. It's like I said, pay attention to history. The ancient Egyptians had the mystery schools for a reason. And it's like, dude, stop playing. Tell me what it is. What the fuck is we doing here? What is the point of all this shit? Like, what is this place? Just tell me. And it's like, why are they not just telling us straight out? Why we got a Horus and Osiris and like, why do we have to know about all this stuff? What is going? Just tell me what the fuck it is. And then you look at the Greeks, and then the Greeks, war, deception, everything they did, sacrificed so many people. And then when they got the information, they did the exact same thing. Oh shit. Religion. They flip the script. And then it's like, we get these religions and all this esoteric teachings, and we like, what the hell is all this? Just stop playing. Tell me what the hell is going on. What am I supposed to be doing? What is this place? And as much as I would love to just, put it out there. It's, even if I did, this is the information you would need to know to even understand it and accept it, because you wouldn't if I just told you what's going on. And in the upcoming videos that I have coming out, because as I talked about on YouTube, it's going to be a video every week, which I put on YouTube and Merkabah Academy. But it's a lot more stuff that's happening. We're changing. We're coming into this age of Aquarius. A lot is going to happen. A lot is going to change. And it's going to be crazy and scary. And everybody's sitting back now. And you can see what's happening. A lot of people can see it. So there's a lot more information we got to get into to come into, what's coming. And I'll be putting it out. And as I said, I got ahead of this. And it's the reason for Merkabah Academy, because as you can see, you can't even say certain words on YouTube. You can't say shit. They will cut you off. It's not about them demonetizing your videos and not paying you. I'm talking they will take your shit down and demonetize you. And then in worst cases, ban your channel. They would just destroy it. And, nobody wants to deal with that. And not everybody can have a platform to do what I'm doing. And yeah, it's definitely worth it. And I appreciate you guys' support on it. But to get into that, so much, information we got to understand and learn. And energy is the biggest thing because it's us. It's who we really are. And this matter is just, material that we're interacting with and experiencing. But we need to understand our true essence, which is our energy, and how everything it goes off that. So, this man creating this machine, beautiful thing, turning the air into water, just giving us more understanding that everything we need is here. Everything we need is here. It's possible for us to obtain it and to live a good life, but it's more to the story. So now you got to think about that. And, energy. And the biggest part about this video is emotions. What is that? Emotions is everything. Emotions control our day. It control what we do as people. Emotions are a big deal. So as I said, we have energy all around us. We are literally walking transmitters and receivers. Plain and simple. Energy all around us. So emotions is the experience. It is the experience of the energy that's flowing through us, the energy that's all around us, and it's constant energy around us. So we're going to get into how we are walking transmitters and receivers in a second, but understanding that. So you have the wind, there's energy. You have the sun, the light of the sun, just light, period. Any light shining on you is energy passing through you. Everything gives off an energy. Every single object has an energy that can be registered, that can be read. Everything that's matter has an energy, unless you are below zero, which nothing can be there that's matter. When you really understand, that can be read. So, this whole infrared thing, you get an infrared camera, you can see the body heat, and that's basically how we are, what we're emitting. That's the heat it sees. A lot of the energy we emit, which we emit radiation, which we'll get into in a second, can be measured. It can be, registered and seen with instruments, of course, but it's something we already know. Like you give off energy. You feel that vibe from a person, that's their energy. Now it says here, do humans give off radiation? Yes, humans give off radiation. Humans give off mostly infrared radiation, which is electromagnetic radiation with a frequency lower than visible light. This effect is not unique to humans. All objects with a non-zero temperature gives off thermal radiation, and because a temperature of exactly absolute zero is physically impossible, all objects give off thermal radiation. We have to be careful here. Thermal radiation is not the exact same thing as infrared radiation. Thermal radiation is all the electromagnetic waves given off by an object because of its temperature, and indicates radio waves, infrared waves, and even visible light, as we was talking about before. That's that spectrum, this whole electromagnetic spectrum. Infrared waves are only one part of thermal radiation. The two tend to get confused because most of the thermal radiation is infrared radiation for temperatures that are comfortable to humans. As an object gets hotter, the peak of its thermal radiation shifts to higher frequencies. The sun is hot enough that most of its thermal radiation is emitted as visible light and near infrared waves. Thermal radiation only transports heat and indicates the temperature of its source. Different people at different times give off different amounts of radiation, but these differences just indicate who is hotter and not who is fatter, taller, sadder, or more saintly. Thermal images of a person captured using an infrared camera just indicates the temperature of the person's skin and cannot be used to diagnose disease happening below the skin. Clothes tend to block infrared radiation, so a man with his shirt off emits more radiation than when it is on. Anybody who has tinkered with an infrared camera, which I have, can attest to this fact. And it's crazy when you see that. You can just see the body heat. It's like how snakes or what have you, reptiles can read our body heat the same way. They have this infrared vision. It just goes to show you again how, we were created differently and given different, attributes to say, than animals for a reason. It's a purpose to it. Infrared radiation is non-ionizing and therefore cannot give you cancer. It's a good thing because the rocks, trees, chairs, tables, and walls around us are constantly flooding us with a barrage of infrared radiation. For the most part, humans do not emit other forms of radiation besides thermal radiation. People often eat trace amounts of radioactive minerals that occur naturally, and they therefore give off tiny amounts of other types of radiation. For instance, Brazil nuts and bananas contain higher amounts of radioactive elements, but the amounts are too small to be noticeable or have an effect on their health. If a person has a medical scan taken that requires drinking radioactive contrast, he will emit more radiation than normal for a few hours until the contrast decays, but the amounts are still too small to have an effect on everyday life and health, which is good. So that's just more proof positive. We have this energy. This energy is all around us in the room, off of every box of freaking sneakers that's in here. And excuse me for having to record in here. They're doing a lot of construction over where the green screen room is, and it's kind of loud. I don't have time to record this later. I know, but the place don't matter. Just the information. Just putting it out there. But I ain't trying to brag and show off my sneakers. You know, most people seen them. But yeah, I used to sell, by the way. You know, one of the things I used to get into it. People who know me know I'm a big sneakerhead, because not just I like sneakers, because of the value that's in them, especially now. But okay, back to the video. But yeah, so we know proof positive, energy all around us, energy everywhere. We can't see it all. We know it exists. We can measure it with different instruments and, you know, different things that, you know, we can see through. And it's important. It's important to understand, because then, again, it takes us back to that whole sun thing and understanding why the sun was revered and important. And the crazier thing that they already understood everything I'm saying to you. So everything under the sun is alive and well, it's breathing, it's living, it has life, it emits a frequency, a energy. And they understood that. So it's the sun is God, because without the sun, nothing is happening. So that energy that it would take for these atoms to come together to, as I always talk about, you know, our bone structure, 20 hydrogen atoms gives us calcium, the element, which gives us our bone structure. Like the energy for all this stuff to even, it needs to be sun. You know, sun is important for this stuff to even do what it needs to do. So to have us, you know, the sun shining, basically half the planet, you might as well say, and everything that's happening versus the dark half and what's happening over there. And then how it's this cycle that must exist. It's yin yang. It's the darkness and the light. It has to happen. Everything is dualistic. Everything is duality. I always get into that. And it's one of the reasons why what happened with our foods had to happen, as I got into before. You can't just have good food 24/7. We're going to get into this in an upcoming video I have on foods and meats or what have you. But it's important. I put out a video on YouTube before, but this one is going to be more deeper. But it's important to understand this yin-yang process, this choice process that must exist. It's more deeper than what I'm talking about here. But if you watch my videos, you get it. You're starting to understand now. So big deal with the sun. It's God. It's everything. It's giving life and energy to everything that's here and everything that's under the sun. Sun is down. We got the moon. We have this moon energy, this light that affects us, as we talked about in part 1, how the moon affects parts of our bodies, our organs, and so on and so forth. This is a big deal. So now, how do we process this energy in motion, these emotions? How is it processed? And we have the analytical brain and we have the emotional brain. And the emotional brain processes information way faster than the analytical brain, which people may think is the analytical brain. But no, it's the emotional brain. And just quick example, the analytical brain is, accounting, numbers. Everything has to add up. Facts, truth. It must be proven. It has to make sense for me to deal with it. Analytical. Then you have emotional brains, it's your empathy, just a better example, just a homeless person. The emotional brain will look at it and be like, this guy's eating out the trash. Let me give him a couple dollars. That would be the emotional brain. The analytical side of you will be like, this guy's going to take my money and get some drugs. I'm not giving him a penny. I got kids to feed, so on and so forth. We're not getting high for my money. And then, the whole point of it all is to come to a balance, of course, a balance. And then the balance would basically be, you know what? Hey, what do you want to eat? This is what you say to the homeless guy. This way, if he wants food, he gets food. He eats, he gets what he needs. You don't have to worry about that situation. The right thing was done with the money. It's your choice. But then we say, so what? I'm not giving this guy money. He shouldn't have did what he did. Whatever excuse we make up for his position, that we don't know about. And then we go about our life. And then you have to leave it up to karma.